Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on the Real Estate Podcast. I'm Todd Sumney, the Chief Industry Officer for HomeSmart International, and I am so excited today to have a friend and colleague and a guest here today in Matt Hendricks from Zillow Group. Matt is the Director of Broker Relations and Strategy, and Matt travels all around the country working with brokerages, brokers, agents. You travel an awful lot, so I know you have a lot of knowledge and experience that you're gathering out there working with everybody in the field, and I'm anxious today about what you're going to share with us on your second podcast here about working with buyers and sellers, right?
I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much for having me. And yeah, I get to meet a lot of amazing people in this industry, a lot of amazing brokers, agents, and I'm certainly excited to be here again with you today, Todd. It's always a pleasure.
Well, thank you very much. All right, so let's dig in. Let's talk real quick about press a button, have magic happen. So what does that phrase mean to you? What do you...
That's all of us every day. I mean, look at what you have in your pocket. You have, and I said this before, you have a remote control for your life in your pocket.
Right.
And when you take that remote control out and you open it up, you are expecting to push a button and make magic happen in any aspect of your life.
That's true.
I mean, it's
so
the way we operate today.
Right.
So if something doesn't happen, what's going through your head? Like, oh, my phone's broken, this app's terrible, I don't trust these people. There's so much involved with that.
Right.
But push a button and we want magic to happen.
Oh, I mean, I got to tell you, I was actually just thinking about this last night because I was doing some gift shopping, and I was thinking to myself about how my perspective of Amazon has changed. That before I used to get like an Amazon gift card, and it was kind of like, but I don't know, like if I want to buy what I want to buy at Amazon. And now, literally yesterday, my son ordered makeup remover pads and some body soap and a couple other things from Amazon, and it was at our house within a couple minutes, right?
It is.
And so, I mean, it's literally down to groceries, household essentials, goods,
everything.
Everything.
You can buy a Christmas tree on
Right.
Amazon.com now. I mean,
that's so true.
It's amazing. For the first time ever, you can go
Right.
online, push a button, and your Christmas tree will show up at your house. A live Christmas tree, not a fake one, a live one.
Does it have lights on it already?
Not that I know. Well, I'm sure
there
you can push a
probably is
button
an
to make
option.
somebody else come over. You can use TaskRabbit for somebody to come over and put
Right.
lights on your tree that you just had delivered from Amazon. You won't even have to get off the couch.
Right. Well, that's why I think we make such a good team in real estate, your company and ours, because basically, like at HomeSmart, we believe in the push a button, have magic happen. That's why we've built so much technology for our agents. Mm-hmm. Around, like, we have a dashboard called Real Smart Agent that agents log into, and I often talk about that an agent is in control of their business at any time. They know where they're, I just uploaded my transaction into the system, I'm waiting on a listing to be approved, and it's like, I think they can actually watch it follow through the system, through the dashboard. It's in paperwork, it's being approved. It's in broker review. Brokers are reviewing contracts in 17.6 hours, and so it's press a button, make magic happen, right?
Right.
But then let's take it over to the consumer, which is where, you and our real estate agents reside on a daily basis. They're working with that consumer who wants that magic. Mm-hmm. Do you have any stories or things about this, or, I think I've heard you use the term before, digital natives, right?
It's powerful. I mean, we're dealing with a large majority of our population that knows no other way other than to have immediacy and personalizations and have that remote control for their life.
Right.
If you look at all the things that we do that we take for granted now, like if you took away your Real Smart Agent from your agents, would they even know how to track the transaction at this point?
No, I mean, they rely on it. It's not the sexy thing, but it's the meat and potatoes that really enables them to do 200, 300, 400 transactions a year if they wanted to.
Right.
It's the backbone of the business.
All these things aren't gimmicky anymore.
Right.
They aren't fads. I mean, this has just become a normalcy in a way of a part of our life.
Right.
When we talk about Amazon and how you can literally have anything to you, if not in 2 days, tomorrow, and in a lot of cases, depending on your market, this afternoon. We could order whatever we want. It will be here within a couple hours.
Right.
I'm going to push a button and a car is going to be here immediately. And maybe the car is going to take me to the airport where I've already checked in online. I mean, so many different things. It's all push of a button, make magic happen.
Right.
I can push a button and rent a house immediately. Right now, I can go get a whole new wardrobe. We can start with nothing and be fully furnished and in a house by the end of today.
Right.
So the world's changed.
Right. Well, it certainly has, and and then that's why it's changing consumer behavior is what it's doing, and then we as real estate professionals, we need to adapt to that change.
Right.
So, for example, I mean, I almost had an argument with my son the other day because we were talking about, I'll get in my car and I'll go get some food, and he's like, no. Press a button, make magic happen. I need you here doing this with me at the house, right?
Right.
And I'm like, I can just get in my car and go drive. And he's like, no. And I'm like, he's like, I don't want to pay the extra money. He's like, what is it, $4? Extra? And literally that's what I think it was. It was $4 or $5 extra, right, to have it delivered. And at that time, it's like, so the perception of value is changing a little bit. My time was more valuable doing what I needed to be doing with him. And it was worth that $5 to get it delivered.
When there's also a little bit of self-acceptance for me and you. Me and you were not digital natives. We were able, we grew up before we had a cell phone in our pocket all day, every day.
Easy there.
We're not that far apart. But
so true.
I'm the same way. I used to never get delivery. I always wanted to get carrot because I'll just get in my car and go get it. But with how things are changing and the time and the ease of these other things, it almost makes us change the way we live our lives too. I would rather spend that time with my kids as well than spending 10 or 15 minutes in traffic. But that's where we at in real estate with that. I mean, we haven't gotten there yet in real estate. It's an older process. It's a bigger process.
Well, and for anyone, here's the thing. I do want to make it clear for anyone then who's thinking that press a button, make magic happen is going to, is fearful of that in real estate. We just did a podcast a moment ago where we talked about that creating authentic relationships with customers, but what we talked about is that customers are needing us more than ever. So I guess I'd like to say, I want to know if you agree with this, but press a button, make magic happen does not mean that we're not important as real estate professionals anymore. Candidly, I think it almost makes us, all the technology, all the information that's out there, it makes us more important, and if you want information on that, listen to our other podcasts, right? But as I was talking to you, I could just hear some people maybe in the audience saying, maybe if they get fearful about that, don't be.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
The difference there is the immediacy part. It's all push a button, make magic happen. The difference now is I'm so used to everything happening right now, that's where we need to catch up. If I'm out searching and I'm going through these 50 homes and I'm super interested in this one, if I push a button expecting magic to happen like every single other app on my phone, and I want to talk to an agent and I don't hear anything for a day or 2 days or a week or in 2 weeks, is that the same magic on every single other button that I can push?
Well, and that's where we're going to get into, I want to talk to you about speed to lead. I want to talk to you about that earlier because that is so key to the whole thing. And then I think that there's so many free tools and things at our fingertips too that, like press a button, I can make magic happen by sending someone a listing in a text. I can send somebody a video. I can respond to someone even if I'm in a meeting. I can, I can connect with them on social media. I can
a million different ways.
Right.
You can get in touch with each other no matter what, and you can make it immediate. And that's what everybody expects. Let's look at text messages for one. How many calls do you answer that are unknown callers? It's a number you don't know.
Very rarely anymore.
Me as well. But if a text comes through, even if it's an unknown number, there's context there. And I don't have to call my voicemail and find out what that is. Texts are immediate. And that's, at Zillow, we've learned that too. And instead of a lot of the phone calls that we used to make to try to connect people, even a text has much higher engagement because it's immediate, it has context, and it's less intrusive as well. So there's that aspect of it as part of the magic part.
Right. But can we talk about social media for a minute?
Sure.
Because that's a large part of it. About, when I think about make magic happen, anyone can be a rock star. Anyone can create a following. Anyone can create a broadcast. They can go create their own podcast. They can go create their own Facebook groups. They can go create a following. And you can create a following on social media. as a real estate professional that people can connect with. I mean, what are you seeing that is happening in real estate with regards to social media?
It depends on how you choose to use it. If your whole goal is to go out there and just gather tens of thousands of followers, where's your real connection there? Where's your real connection with your clients?
Right.
Are you putting your effort into just gaining followers, or are you putting effort into knowing the client that you're working with that day and working on their house and understanding their life and their needs? So there's a balance there. We can reach out and we can touch everybody from a million different angles in social media. I mean, 3 billion people in the world are connected.
Right.
But how do you start that immediate connection and make that deeper? That's the difference there.
So we were talking digital natives, and so if you think real quick think of the top 5 agents that you know. Don't mention them by name, right? But I just think of a top 5 agent, right? What stands out to you about what they're doing with digital natives, social media, online? You know, what are they doing?
Two of the biggest things that I see across the board with good agents, let alone the top agents I know, is one, trustworthiness. Whether it's from them or their entire team, they have built a culture of trustworthiness, meaning that their clients, as soon as they start interacting with them, there's just a deeper level of understanding and empathy. And we talked about empathy in the other podcast, but there's trustworthiness. Because we have so much thrown at us all day long, every day, that is a huge part. The second most important thing to the buyers, renters, and sellers today is responsiveness. So we already talked about immediacy with digital natives. Responsiveness. Are you answering their questions in a timely manner? And timely in some people's minds may be 4 hours.
Well, that's where I told you earlier I wanted to talk to you about speed to lead. Okay, because to me, I know that could sound like a corny phrase, but it really is so true.
It's so true.
I mean, I have to chuckle. I mean, Starbucks wasn't fast enough before. Now you have drive-through in Starbucks, right? It's got to be even faster than it was before. And there's hundreds of applications we were just talking about all the different, you know, press a button, make magic happen. But you know, okay, but we have buyers that are online, and they do need speed.
Yes.
Time is becoming the most precious commodity for all of us.
We've habitualized ourselves into expecting everything right away.
Right. So to the audience of real estate professionals, what are things that you can share that, you know, like up on the screen here, for those that are listening, not seeing, we have a slide that says, what do they need? Renters, buyers, and sellers. You know, what do they need is one of the, well, I heard you say trustworthiness. Well, actually, let's go to the next slide here. We talk about, we have up 81% of people, according to your slide here, need trustworthiness.
Yes.
Number 2, though, 80%, 1% off is the speed to lead.
Yeah.
Responsiveness.
And it's not always about a full answer. What I see really, really top agents doing is it's just getting back to them to show that there's an interest and show that there's an interest in connecting. So say it's 10 o'clock at night and you get this, you know, well, it's 10 o'clock, I'm trying to get in bed, I'm not gonna have a 30-minute conversation with this person.
Right.
If I can shoot them a text and say, hey, got your message, would love to talk to you, can we schedule a time for tomorrow? It's almost better than you trying to call them back immediately, because then you're almost in that intrusive space again.
Correct.
But they knew that you're responsive from that very get-go. Hey, interested in this house. Great, can we schedule a time for tomorrow? Two things are happening there. You're responding to them very quickly, but then you're putting the ball back in their court to let them know, hey, pick a time for tomorrow. What time do you want to talk? Give them, empower them to make the next decision, but you already showed that you were responsive. And then you can build the trustworthiness, and then you can show the whole other suite of services that you have, being the local market expert, all the other things that you do as a superior agent. But little thing, whether it's a text, an email, you know, we can connect a million different ways. Just make sure you're reaching back out quickly.
Right. Okay, so what I heard from you is we know that the consumer wants trustworthiness. But when you're trying to talk about conversion, converting and actually engagement is another term that I use, engagement and connection, right? But how do you increase engagement? How do you increase conversion? And do you think speed is the most important?
In today's world, I do. Because no matter how well you've planned your scripts and everything else, I mean, you've got to be good on the phone and good once you actually get a hold of them. But speed is going to be the number one factor. Because say you have all those other things, but you reached out 3 days later than somebody else. One, you want to shine first and foremost. You want to be the first person up so that you're not being compared to 10 other people.
Right.
I think with the way we're programmed right now, I think that's the first step in converting more. I think if you're anything less than trying to get speed there first, you're fighting an uphill battle, regardless of your other skill sets.
Right. So does this change for, okay, so we're talking about this is for home buyers. Does it change for home sellers? Or whoops, I'll go back this way. Does it change for home sellers?
Almost identical. Almost the identical things. The only little bit difference is the local market expert. So we're going a little bit higher trustworthiness and a little bit more on local market experts. So we're talking a difference between 86 and 81% and basically 75% and 80% for local market expert.
Right.
And those are just products of if I'm selling my home, I really, really need you to understand the local market because I need you to sell it from the inside out. I mean, I need you to love my house to sell it the same way that I love it and understand my value. So I think that's probably where that variance is there.
Right.
When you're dealing with a home buyer, they're going off of your trust or your information and your knowledge there, but it's not as important as seeing the love that you already have for your house that you're selling. And that's where I see the difference there. But trustworthiness and responsiveness are both through the roof and number one, number two.
Right. Okay, so again, back to the digital natives, I think that's, I hadn't, that's a powerful phrase, and when you really think about it, because it's been so ingrained in that segment of our population since they were so young, right? So it's ingrained in them. It's native in them. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, it's not going to go away. That's all they've ever known, and until the next iteration of whatever it is, that is part of their life.
Right. So, so again, I want you to think of those top producers because our audience is top producing agents all around the country. And the object of this podcast is 3 actionable items that they can take away after listening to every podcast or things to really put into practice in their business So I hear speed loud and clear. I hear trustworthiness loud and clear. But what else? What other takeaways?
I would challenge every agent, whether you're a top agent or a new agent or you're just trying to get over that next one, do your research as well. Everything that you're doing is not just based on the experiences that you have transaction to transaction. You need to know what the demographics of the clientele you're dealing with are. Do you know about the change in the workforce with millennials and Gen Z and just the age groups and how they are a digital native? Go out and educate yourself in whatever way you can to learn about the habits, the particulars, all the different segments of that, because either you're relating to them or you're not. I mean, it's basically, are you speaking the digital natives language or whatever other generation that you're working with most? Do your homework. I mean, there's a lot there that will just, by filtering some of that information, will make you a better agent. I mean, be informed.
Right. So what are some resources that maybe you would think agents, how do they go get this information? Where do they?
We do a consumer housing trends report every year where we go out and survey 15,000 plus homeowners, buyers, sellers, renters from across the country, which is called the Zillow Consumer Housing Trends Report, which is available at zillow.com/report. That's a great resource, but there are many, many others. NAR puts out great statistics every year.
When was the most recent report come out? When did it come out?
Came out in August of this year. So
okay,
this is our 2018
relatively
one.
Few months old.
Very new.
So it's very up-to-date information?
It is.
Okay.
300 pages of everything you could imagine about any client that you would want to work with.
All right.
Really good stuff in there.
Okay. All right. So takeaways for everyone listening. So the Zillow Group Consumer Housing Trends Report 2018. And what's the URL again?
Zillow.com/report.
/report. Okay. All right. So, I'm not done yet. I want to keep talking. Like, I guess I really want to know, like, an actionable item that you think, or 1 or 2 things you think agents should do right now that build on this topic. Like, they're listening to this podcast. What should they go to do to take advantage of what we just talked about? Speed to lead, trustworthiness. That digital native. Press button, make magic happen.
Challenge yourself. I mean, make incremental shifts to it. Think about how you respond to leads right now and your timing on it, and challenge yourself to take the next 5 or 10 inbound leads. Time yourself. Like think about how long it took you, and just do little subsets and seeing what your conversion rate is when you answer quicker. I mean, that's easy. We could all improve on our daily habits, but that doesn't have to be a year-long plan. Start today, and for the next week, or maybe not over the holidays, maybe for the first week in January or whatever, time yourself on your lead response. Just see where you're at.
Right.
Because a lot of people have no idea where they're at.
Well, I think that, so back to the discussion with my son, he was talking to me about afterwards, because of the experience, he was like, see? And when you put yourself in the actual experience and you experience it, then you realize. So like if you were to put yourself in the seat of the buyer with your response time, would you be happy? Would you be disappointed?
Exactly.
And so that's what's running through my mind is, good point.
I know that the average response time, okay, I'll throw out some other stats here just so that this gets people thinking about what they're doing.
Okay.
50% of the time, leads are not followed up on through our system, through Zillow. And those are leads that agents are paying for. Right. So 50% of the time, they're not even followed up on.
Right.
The average response time, if they are followed up on, 19 hours. Do you know how many Netflix shows I can binge in 19 hours and how many other agents I've probably already reached out to at that point?
So the opportunity there
the opportunity is there.
Respond. Right.
Test yourself. Go out and test yourself. Go take the next week or the next 5 leads and just time yourself. When it comes into your email, even if you're in the middle of something else, just make a chart of that and just see where you're at.
So you work with a lot of top agents.
Yeah.
What do they do? Like, okay, so I'm busy showing property. Mm-hmm. I'm in a listing appointment. I do not want to pick up that phone. I don't even have my phone out. It's put away because of the respect of the person I'm with. So what? No, I'm giving you some real world examples.
I know exactly
what do top agents do?
So one of the coolest ones, and I know this is a little bit difficult, and you have to make yourself do this. Be diligent about your autoresponder, and I mean to the point where your autoresponder, whether it's email, and you can set up text autoresponders too, across the board. I will be taking care of my other valuable clients for the next 3 hours. I will reach out to you as soon as I am done with that. If you're specific and you give specific timelines, that's immediate information back to whoever is inquiring.
Okay.
But it's simple. You just got to get in the habit of doing it.
Does your support team help agents set up autoresponders if they needed
through their profiles and through their inbound leads? Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. We do a lot of that stuff.
I didn't know you did that actually. That wasn't a planted question.
Your business consultant, when you're working through your profile, can help you do that. And on our other agent resources on our website, we have a lot of those best practices too. But I would say, just for trying out 2 things, time yourself and then go set up autoresponders. Right. It's super simple, but then it's an immediate reach out that you didn't have to do anything about. Right. I'm on vacation until Sunday afternoon. I will reach out to you as soon as I'm back.
Right.
Let me know what's going on. You're not mad at Amazon if it's going to take 2 days instead of 1 day, as long as they tell you.
Right.
Information.
Right. Right. Well, that goes back, and we'll wrap up with this. But that goes back to your example of it's 10 o'clock at night. I do think that at times I've been guilty of, hey, it's 10 o'clock at night. They'll understand that I'm with my family, or I'm at on personal time. So, just no response, and I'll get to them first thing in the morning, versus responding quickly with maybe a text that says, hey, I'll get back to you right there first thing in the morning, because in a way there is no, I had a podcast with Wendy the other day, Wendy Forsyth, our COO, just talking about how personal time and business time, in a way, they're blending. There's not a clear line anymore.
For good and bad.
Right, and it's but really we can manage it. We can choose to, okay, let's go quick, send that message off real quick, and then I can relax.
Yeah.
Instead of being stressed about.
And they appreciated your responsiveness. And they didn't want to have a 2-hour conversation with you at 10 o'clock, but they wanted somebody to respond to.
But hey,
them.
I don't have an answer for you right now. Let me get that answer and I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
I just think so. I'm watching myself. I have changed my behavior over the last 2 or 3 years in that realm, because I want to be better. I want to be more professional. I want to be, and I think every one of our listeners could do that too. So
absolutely.
Well, good. Well, thank you, Matt, so much for being with us here today on the Real Estate Podcast. Appreciate all of you listening in. Matt, love to have you back in a future time, and thank Zillow Group and all your team members for everything you do for for all of us. And
thank you. I'm happy to come to Arizona anytime in the winter. Just don't bring me down here in July.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here today on the Real Estate Podcast. I'm Todd Sumney, and I will see you soon.